Hey, it's a Wolf, and today we are going to be building the fastest hopper-based TNT Auto Crafter in Minecraft. So the way this works, you put your recipe in the Auto Crafter. We have 5 gunpowder and 4 sand. You could use the same thing for sea lanterns, for example. And then we come up here, so we had our gunpowder, had 5, so we put 5 here, and then the sand is here, we have 4 here. Let's get our shulkers of gunpowder, then we put our sand here, so we have shulkers of each of those. Put our empty shulker, turn off the hopper locking mechanism, which allows it to fill. You see that light come off. And then we turn this on, and everything being well, you see, we're filling it up at double speed. My previous design had this single hopper speed. Now we're filling it up with double hopper speed. And so this will actually make a shulker of TNT, one of these, in 34 minutes. All these hoppers, you can hook them up to your farm. When it's full, it's going to shut the system off, or if it runs out of material, it will also shut the system off and turn this light on here. So let's go build this, shall we? Here's everything that you will need for this. The wooden shovel signifies that you'll need 25 non-stackables. Basically, we need to fill this up -1 just so that we get the correct signal strength of 14, so that when this shulker is full, it stops the system and doesn't keep producing TNT. For this build, you will need an area that is 8 blocks deep, 7 blocks wide, and 5 blocks tall, because we've got some set into the ground. If you would like to cover some of this up and make it a little bit more hidden, you can do something like that. So let's start by putting on the master switch that will turn everything on and off. And then we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bring it back the rest of the way there. Then we do this sort of a shape. And just to make it easy to see what I'm doing, I have just put down some smooth stone there. Okay, so let's make the clock that runs this farm. We need a comparator on subtract mode, a repeater on 4 ticks, and then a repeater facing the other direction on 1 tick. Let's connect all this up like this, and this is the clock. As you can see, it will pulse at the speed that we need. You'll see that these go on for a lot longer. What we want this to do is just be a single pulse. So the way that we do that, we put a comparator on subtract mode there. We put a repeater here just on a single tick, and then we put redstone dust on all the rest of this area so it looks like this. Let me put a lamp here just so you can see what's happening. So you can see this is just a really short 1 tick pulse. It's coming through, and then 1 tick later it's being cancelled. See, this is pulsing at a different speed. The reason for that, if we were just running off this clock here, the crafter would regularly be locked and would actually slow things down. So by doing it this way, we can achieve the speeds that we've got. So let's put down a crafter here, put down all our hoppers. So one on pretty much all the possible faces. Then so you can keep track of where we're going, we've got the shulker that we're going to be crafting the TNT goes in there. So the crafter is going to be shooting into this shulker. We want a hopper and a hopper. The reason we're doing it this way is to make things a lot easier in survival to know which one is going to be the 5 and which one's going to be the 4. So the recipe for TNT is 5 gunpowder and 4 sand. So up here we have the 5 gunpowder, and then down here is the 4 sand. So we want to crouch and place hoppers into these spots. So here's the 5. We're going to go all around this double chest with 4, not 5, because if you put 5, then if you put 1 in here, it's going to get confused with this hopper. Next up, we're going to put solid blocks, and we're just going to kind of snake the solid blocks around like this. We don't need to go through the far side. Solid, 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 all the way around. And then just to make it easy for us to see what's going on, we're going to put a redstone lamp here, put our lever on this one, and then we put redstone dust over all of these. That's going to lock all these. I'm using a pack so you can see where the hoppers are pointing, and it also shows when they're locked. And as you can see, all the hoppers are locked. Reason for that is so that if we have a shulker there and we break it, it's not going to show in creative, but it will pop up and sit on top of there to make it easy to collect. Or if you need to change anything or whatever, you just want to have the ability to lock all those hoppers. You need a comparator there. We need a comparator there. So these hoppers are going to stay full for longer because here we got 2 hoppers. We want to pull a signal off of these. So we have solid blocks there and torches there. So these torches will stay on until there's items in here. Once there's items in there, see the torch goes off and it comes back on. So we want to put a redstone lamp here just so that we can see from this side that one or more of the hoppers are empty. And then we put redstone dust here. We put a repeater, just a single tick there. We want a solid block here. Watch what happens to this redstone dust when we do that. So it's pushing into this block, which is energizing that, which is then pushing the signal down here. And this then locks the clock so it can't continue to push things out. So the last thing we need to do is turn the system off when this shulker is full. So we put a comparator here on subtract mode, put a comparator here, and then we put redstone dust here, repeater coming out of there into a solid block, barrel down there, and we need to fill this with, basically fill it to everything except the last one. I use wooden shovels just because they are super cheap and easy to get and to build and all that. So this now will provide a signal strength of 14 into the side of this comparator. So then when this shulker is full, it will send a signal into this block here, which will also turn this torch off. And that is basically it. I like to have a step there just so that in survival I can come up here, I can turn that off and then put down all my shulkers, remembering of course that the one that you have 5 in there and the one that you have 4 in there. And then the last thing we need to do is to put in the recipe. So this will be good for anything that has the 5 and 4 items. For example, sea lanterns or TNT. You can put a stack of each in there if you like, or just a single one, just as long as you turn that one off and let some of it flow in before you start the system. If you are just putting single items in, put our empty shulker, turn off the hopper locking mechanism, which allows it to fill. You see that light come off. And then we turn this on, and everything being well, you see, we're filling it up at double speed. Thanks for checking out this tutorial. If you liked it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe for more technical tutorials, and I'll see you in the next one.